Appreciate you. So we played Tamiyo plus Manamorphose in a Wizard Shell recently, and these two cards play really damn good together. Kind of like Mishra's Bauble, a Manamorphose sets up for a turn 2 Tamiyo flip. You attack with a Tamiyo, you cast a Manamorphose, then you sack the clue, although this deck has lots of good ways to flip a Tamiyo. And then not only does Tamiyo do that, but Tamiyo has this line of text that basically just isn't used in Modern at all. Return target instant or sorcery from your graveyard. If it's a green card, add 1 mana of any color. And so I've been looking for decks that not only, are interested in playing Tamiyo plus Manamorphose, but decks that can also use that extra mana a little bit better. And so I think after, some inspection on Sunday, this was kind of obviously the shell. The Phoenix shell that we love so dearly. Maybe you haven't seen it, maybe you have. We played a lot of this archetype on the channel to varying degrees of success. We've trophied with lots of different builds over the years. We top 8 the challenge, like right when Demilich came out, and it's just very cool. Phoenix and Demilich are kind of two very unique creatures. Both of them care about casting a bunch of instants and sorceries on your turn, and both get recurred from the graveyard for 0 mana. Although I tend to think Demilich is the better card of the two, for whatever that's worth. And so, Tamiyo in this deck does a lot of different things beyond just kind of being a generically good card. One, it makes mana with Manamorphose. It is a really good source of card advantage, but it also really helps you race Ocelot Pride and Guide of Souls, where you just get to +1 and you just get to ignore all of their Ocelot Prides. That's like a really important thing for this deck too. Also, one really important thing it does is it just buys back a Force of Negation for you. Force of Negation is awesome in this deck because you're just like spending mana on your turn, drawing cards, selecting, building a big board, and then if you can like put some big creatures into play for 0 mana, then just time walk them with Force of Negation. It usually ends up being very good, but sometimes you need that second Force of Negation, and Tamiyo being able to buy that back is a really big deal. Really, really good against ring decks. Like when you Force of Negation a ring, it's like pretty often KO. And then just a little bit more about like Phoenix as an archetype and why I think it's got some potential at the moment. Your creatures are mostly 4 mana, so you're pretty like resilient to Wrath the Skies. There's basically no Rest in Peace, no Leyline in the Void at the moment, which means you don't need to splash green for Pick Your Poison right now, and you can play Flame of Anor as a way to answer artifact-based graveyard hate, and now you also have 8 wizards and Demilich and Tamiyo, which is pretty sick. And also, Gutshot is a card that you kind of always need to main deck in Phoenix to have a density of 0 mana spells to get these back. And in the Ocelot Pride metagame, Gutshot, pretty dang good. Gutshot is pretty dang good. I thank you, Jeff, for the 30 months. Appreciate you. So let's get into it. All right, keeping this awesome hand. Nice. Always love to be like, all right, we're trying Tamiyo. Here's Tamiyo and Manamorphose. Surgicals are for Flage. Flage and Gorios. Gorios is like, somehow Gorios just always is like this like super good deck that is like like really well positioned and crushing tournaments, and people just, energy is going crazy. it's like Gorios lives for a long time in metagames where people just continue to forget about it, and to some extent it kind of feels like that's been what's happening here. I think I'm gonna make blue. Okay, then just sack the clue. If I drew a cantrip, I might have gone cantrip here. So next turn I can go pick up Manamorphose, which makes a mana that I could go Manamorphose, Salvaging, discard Phoenix. And if I draw any spell, we get the Phoenix and the Demilich back. Great game to be able to play, of course. Right, there's a Scour, so let's go pick up this Manamorphose, just make red into blue-red into, I think we'll go Salvaging this turn. Usually salvage first. If I had to, yeah, I think it's just actually always salvage first. I don't know if there's any reason to do anything different there. So now we're going to go Scour. There's another Manamorphose, which is going to be nice for next turn. And I think I'm just going to go bolt the Ocelot Pride, and then if my opponent flips the Ajani, we just get to kill the Ajani with the Phoenix. Might have been nice to bolt the Ajani first and kind of bait the flip. Extra mana up the Tamiyo, of course, very clutch here. think people have a couple games to all the Goros and bottom 10 cards and kind of off it. I'm people, yeah. And I think that is pretty accurate, to be honest. All right. If they send both creatures at Tamiyo and I get to block the Ajani, I think that's going to be okay with me. Already at 12 life because they've been doing some fetching and shocking. Feeling pretty good. They flage. The Demilich doesn't matter too much. Guide of Souls, always very good though. But it looks like they're not going to kill my Lich, so I can flash back the Bolt on the Guide. And then if they flip the Ajani here, I can Phoenix the Ajani. So I guess they'll plus. Oh. I guess they won't plus. So Tamiyo was +2 cards, +5 life, +1 mana. I guess mana neutral. Alright, we have this coming off rebound. Let's go ahead and discard the Scalding Tarn. Force of Negation. I'm going to make... Oh, you know what? This is actually a bit of a problem. So I may have an issue getting red mana to flashback Bolt off Lich. So maybe that's okay. I don't have a gut shot in the yard. Okay, second Phoenix in the yard is nice. Alright, so one bird at the Ajani. Both of these have my opponent. If they double block the Demilich, that is okay. A gut shot in the yard to kill a cat would have been nice, but if they double block, we just kill these cats and replay the Lich for 0 mana here. Okay, nice. Alright, get rid of Salvaging, Highway Robbery, Manamorphose. Sack a land with Robbery, then play Canal. I mean, that's an interesting line. It seems like this is going to end up being a lot better. But yeah, it could have been fine. It is great that Highway Robbery can sack a land here, so... Like, it's just such a nice design on the card. What a beating, dude. What a beating. It's not too often that your opponent goes Guide into a Johnny, Pride into a Johnny, into Guide to Johnny, and they are just stone dead, dude. Alright, so we're gonna cut the Force of Negations for Pyroclasms. And then I want to do like some split of Flame of Anor Surgicals also. I've been wanting to trim the 4th Highway Robbery. I still am a little sure about like which of these is stronger, but we could maybe trim one of each. And trim a Scour. I mean, yeah, Flage is a big problem. Let's play 2. I think I want to do 2 and 2. Probably trim Phoenix too. Try this. Winning the die roll is, of course, pretty big deal there. Okay, this hand does need to draw land, but we have 4 looks, so I think we should keep. I feel like Manamorphose are the weakest cards now. Manamorphose is the best card in this deck. You can never, in any context, ever cut any number of Manamorphose. It is the strongest card in the deck. Sad to not have a gut shot. So you might find one here. Oh, wrong Phyrexian spell. Yeah, Manamorphose unequivocally the best card in this deck. Into another Raptor. We do have some Pyroclasms in the deck, but we can't. Unfortunately, Pyroclasm this turn. Maybe I should have gone to 6. I mean, obviously, you keep a consider hand, you miss your second land. Then you start thinking about the mulligan. Let's go back on the play for game 3. Yeah, Expressive Iteration and Energy seems so weird to me. The card is just so medium. And you really got to impact the board, you know? Okay. Love to have a Pyroclasm, love to have a Salvaging plus a Phoenix. Raptor in the EI is cute. I don't know. I mean, it's cute. It's kind of bad on turn 2. Yeah, kind of bad on turn 2. So next turn we can go Salvaging, discard Phoenix, rebound it, Salvaging, probably discard a Misty into Manamorphose Pyroclasm. So we'll take the hit off the Ragavan. Migu played your Woodland deck this morning, liked it. Yeah, it's been very good. We were 11-4 in leagues and 13-4 in challenges over last week. 3 of those challenge losses being to Nadu. And so it's kind of I'm feeling kind of optimistic for a post Nadu ban Woodlands. Another one. Alright, so Manamorphose. Blue-red. I think I'll save. No, we should just dig for a Demilich. It's kind of close though. Okay. Rewarded. Another one, perhaps. Not quite that lucky. We'll settle for this. And we have our wizard in play for Flame of Anor now. Your turn. What does top 8 in Showcase even get you? So top 8ing the a Showcase event allows you to play in the next. So Showcases are round 1 of the mocks. Round 2 is kind of similar to the Vegas structure. Round 2 is a 30-ish person event that can qualify you for not only the actual mocks, but also can qualify you for the actual Pro Tour. And that event is at the end of this month. So and then the mocks can also qualify you for Worlds. So at the end of the month, so I think first and second, it might just be first, get Pro Tour invites and mocks invites, and then the and then at the mocks there are Worlds invites. And it's a very small tournament, so it's an awesome tournament to get to play in, because like in 2024, how often do you get to play in like 30-person PTQs? Basically never. Not Snipe, 10 months. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm trying to get good with mono black. Do you like the red or the green splash more right now? I've played very little of the Necro decks. I'm just probably not the right person to answer the question. But I do think it is a good deck, and I encourage you to try to get good with it. I think it's very like the heuristics on like how many cards to draw with Necro are like super tough. Mulligan decisions are super tough with that deck. But again, I just haven't played that much of it, so not the right person to ask. Alright, I'm gonna cast Consider. I would love to Highway Robbery away this Phoenix, but I just can't in good consciousness not not Pyroclasm here. Is the next stage must end this month? Yes, it is. Oh, I'm sorry. I believe it is. I believe that it's the 31st of this month, but maybe I misinterpreted the website. Yeah, apparently Rakdos Charm is really good anti-Nadu tech because it gets around Forge Tender. I was under the impression Forge Tender stopped Rakdos Charm, and I got schooled the other day. Dude, if they had Graveyarded Flage without me being able to surgical it, would have been pretty tough there. But a bossum first match for us. All right, keeping this. Someone played Woodlands at our RSQ this weekend. Awesome. I think that deck is great. I think it might get a lot better in a week. We were 5-2 into 8-2. So yeah, 13-4 over the weekend in tournaments, and 3 of our 4 losses were to Nadu. So should Nadu get banned 1 week from today when the BNR is, Woodland's looking really juicy. Let's try to get this salvaging resolved. Mountain Splash, 23 months. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm doing well today. Feeling good. Been working out a lot lately. Kind of entered in a coma yesterday. Just I slept so much. Just ate and slept. So good to discard this Demilich for some value. So I think in this spot, see, I've drawn 2 cards so far. So I guess we should probably try to flip the Tamiyo. And what's cool about this Tamiyo here is if they were to let it resolve and try to Galvanic Discharge it, we'd be able to flip it. Or sorry, we wouldn't. So they could just respond to the trigger on the stack. But I guess if they responded to like Consider here. Well, I guess I should Scour. If they responded to this with the discharge, then we would get to flip it in response. But they should just let the trigger go on the stack instead. Okay, counterspell. Dude, we are embarrassing opponents today. I guess you don't get these Demiliches back till next turn. Maybe they'll like Flage my Tamiyo and I won't be able to get back the Manamorphose. Can I post a challenge list I liked? Yeah, sure. So should I plot this? I think I should cast it because I'm pretty likely to find a spell to get the Phoenix back. Okay. So Demilich is still chilling in the yard, but we have our opponent down to 12, then down to 6. We might just get flaged out of the game though. Oh, yeah, I think we saw this list. I do like the Portent of Calamity seeing some play. Ooh, and they have Solitude. Yeah, maybe... Honestly, maybe we messed up the turn that we played the Demilich. Maybe we needed to... Okay, graveyard that. Maybe we needed to... Oh, sorry, played the Tamiyo instead of the... Is that what I said? I'm losing my brain today. That's okay. This matchup's probably pretty solid. And also, like, Surgical and Flage is still pretty tough for them to beat. If they have a ring here, we're in bad shape. If I was playing a Pro Tour tomorrow, would I play Nadu? I would play Nadu in a Pro Tour tomorrow, yeah. A Pro Tour a week from today? Not so sure. They're Wrathing the Sky? Killing their own Flage. Should I just hope they top deck a ring? I think I'm still supposed to play this Demilich. Yeah, the Solitude is really tough. It's okay. You can be down a game. It's feeling really good on turn 2, though. Small chance we have a crazy string of draws. Alright. We get Force, but then we have no real outs there. Yeah, but their deck is so weak to Surgical and Flage in these kind of matchups. I've been liking it a lot more lately. Adopt Twitch Prime. Thank you. Welcome back. Why is Flame side not main? Sorry for asking. And it's 20 times already. Card is very slow. And it's like mostly here as your answer to graveyard hate because there's barely any artifact based graveyard hate. Sorry, there's barely any enchantment based graveyard hate, so you don't need to splash screen, but you still need answers to her Spellbomb. And then Flame is also going to be better in basically every sideboard game where matchups are going to be slower. People are going to be bringing in sideboard cards, they're looting their deck a little bit. Usually, basically, always sideboard games are slower, so you have time for Flame to kind of take over the game. Yeah, I don't think I'm mulliganing this hand. Compared to game ones, where like there are a lot of matchups you just need to race your opponent. Also, kind of simply, there's not really room to like main deck Force of Negation and main deck Flame, and I think main deck Force of Negation is pretty damn important. Come on, consider. Well, of all the matchups to miss, land drops in. It's not the worst one. If we draw a land next turn, we'll plot a Highway Robbery. Especially into this counterspell here. Nice. No Black Splash or Buried Alive. So I'm at the moment, I think that if you're going to build Phoenix, you can either splash black for Buried Alive, or you could main deck Force of Negation. There are a lot of rings in this format, and without Force of Negations, you are just like dead to the ring. Like you do not have a game plan against the ring. Versus if we do play it, we have like I think a very good game plan against the ring, and that's just kind of enough for me, I guess. Force is, I think, really, really, really strong in this archetype. So I think I want to consider before Highway Robberying. This way I could maybe draw a Phoenix and discard it to the Highway Robbery. Like if I bottom this, then draw Phoenix here. So I'm going to go discard the Lightning Bolt. If I find a Demilich, I could still cast it, and then I guess we could Scour, hit a Demilich potentially. Okay, second Phoenix is very welcome here, of course. Mingu was low-key kicking off about Flage this morning. I don't know what the expression kicking off means, but... So we're gonna get Wrath Disguised? No. I decide whether to use double mode lands, for example. Why no Sink Into the Stupor? You could play Sink Into the Stupor, but I think, you know, having a very painful mana base in Phoenix is tough. You would really prefer to have as least painful as possible when it comes to your mana base in this archetype. So I think I might surgical the Force of Negation here, and then Highway Robbery to try to just get my opponent to 3 with a Lightning Bolt in my hand. We're not even dead. We even beat just a Flage next turn because we have the Bolt. We also get to see how they sideboard it. So they have only 2 Flages. That's kind of weird. Their deck is really weak to Surgical and Flage still, but maybe we'll go play one less. I'm not sure. They also have their own Surgicals, which are interesting. So, actually, my Surgicals countering their Surgicals can actually be really good. So, yeah, we'll still keep those in. And so here, if my opponent just plays the Ring next turn, we can use our Phoenixes to kill the Teferi, and then bolt them on their turn. Or try to. I guess they'll discharge, though. Was getting a bit annoyed in his presence, the meta and design of it, mostly annoyed about how difficult for certain type decks to remove it. I see, that's fair. I've heard this criticism about Flage a lot. For some reason, it's one of these cards that I'm just like really unbothered about. I don't know why. It does seem to like really annoy some people, and for me, it's a card that like I just do not mind the existence of. The Salvaging's a bit bad into the Teferi, because they're going to Wrath Disguise me this turn. I guess I could bolt the Teferi and salvage. But then they ring, so I really would prefer to bolt them. Yeah, I'm just gonna bolt them now to bring back these Phoenixes, to force them to Wrath. And then just surveil end of turn. That's what people hate about Earl all over again, but I love Earl. Sure. I don't know. I hated Uro. I really don't mind Flage. Like I just feel like I've been having like good plans against it. Decks that like largely ignore it. Maybe it's just like the decks I've been playing. But I just kind of feel like this deck, like in this matchup, like if I surgical their Flages, they are just gonna have the hardest time, dude. Like they're just gonna die to the rings. Get rid of that for a bit of value. Discard one of the salvagings here. Okay, and then if we miss on a spell to bring back our Phoenixes, I suppose we can just cast Demilich. So it does seem like my salvagings are going to be stranded, which may be a big problem here. There's dispute, that's fine. I agree with you on Flage, to be clear. I think as a player just really like having to play surgical. I guess so, yeah. Did they just need to hold counter spectrum in time? Did they have solitude? They didn't have solitude when we surgicaled them. If they crack this fetch, they can't tap the ring. Is possible killing Teferi was correctable because of the salvagings? Yeah, maybe. It's just that they are just really weak to just really weak to the bolts on their face, but I agree, it could have been the better line. Good chance we're getting our Demilich bounced. Okay, so they're not going to tap the ring. They keep a card on top, so it's not a Flage. I would think that they would put that into their graveyard. Could be their Solitude, maybe. Could be another... I'm not sure. A Narset. Narset's very, very good against me. They put a Galvanic Discharge into their hand. Another land here is pretty tough. So nice we can keep Demiliching. They find a Spell Snare. They tap the ring because they found the Flage. Oh, because they found another ring. Surgical Discharge a ring. No, we need to save the Surgical to just be a spell. I can get Manamorphose into the Narset, but if I just draw another spell, we'll be able to bring back 3 Liches there. I guess I should have played around that. It's okay. For anyone who wanted me to go surgical, Force of Negation, Manamorphose, there was a reason I wasn't able to do that here. Alright. I guess they could have another Wrath Disguise. So I guess I could surgical the Wrath Disguise. Perfect draw. They did have it. They only have 2 Celestial Purges. Oh, they also dead to my Lightning Bolt. Easy game. Was there a reason to not surgical the discharge? Yeah, I'm trying to just cast 3 spells on a turn to bring my Phoenixes back. So I'm just saving the spells. And then couldn't use Force as a spell because they had resolved it to Teferi. The nice thing about Flage compared to Uro is it removes permanence and ends games. It's not the complete opposite. Yeah, I agree that Flage ends games instead of makes games drag out forever, and I think it's a little bit easier. I think it's actually a lot easier to just have like super effective sideboard cards against Flage. Like if you could play Sanctifier Invec in your deck, you're really happy to play against Flage. There are a lot of decks that like just don't kind of care about your really slow Helix decks. Like when I play Woodlands, I don't care about Flage at all. Compared to playing Woodlands, like Uro is still like a really really good card, just always a really good card, I guess. So we can maybe flip the Tamiyo with Highway Robbery next turn. Nice patience I would have scooped. I don't know if that's nice patience for me, or maybe you need to work on your patience. But thank you. Okay, so now I think resolving a salvaging seems really important to get 2 Phoenixes back. I'm kind of scared of them having a surgical. It would be really nice to draw my own surgical to like half counter theirs. Why doesn't the same thing apply to Uro? Shouldn't the same cyber cards that hit on Flage also hit on Uro? No, because it's like when you graveyard hate Uro, they still got to growth spiral gain 3 life. A lot of times when you graveyard hate Flage, especially if you're not playing a deck with creatures, they just played like a Helix that ended up not being a particularly impactful thing. If that makes sense. It's like the thing about Uro is like when you would surgical Uro, it was like a strong 2-for-1 against you, and sometimes it's still a 2-for-1 if they like got to kill a creature with Flage. Okay, so they do have a surgical, but thankfully we still have our Demiliches, and we have Tamiyo, but I guess Tamiyo Ultimate is like it's still very good. I think I'm not gonna discard anything here. But it's also like, you know, one thing is like Sanctifier didn't exist when Uro was around, but like I've been playing a few decks with Sanctifier, and it's like you just draw 1 Sanctifier in Vec, and and like and your opponent's Flages are just so embarrassing. Flage is a good card. Flage is definitely a good card, but I think there's a good amount of game against it is what I'm trying to get across here, I guess. Should I play another Tamiyo out? I think I'll just plot this turn. I'm going for this ulti. Bowmasters didn't exist when Uro was around. No, but I've played Bowmasters in Timeless with Uro being around, and in my experience, Bowmaster does not do a lot to contain Uro. It just you gain 3 life and they ping you for 1. It's like not really the scariest. I could force this. I think I'm just okay. You delay the Tommy ult by 1 turn, and I just get to keep my force. That's a deal. For a creature deck losing the Flage feels worse. Yeah, that's true, but it's also like what creature decks are like really, and I'm seriously asking, like what creature decks are really weak to Flage that is not like, I guess Prowess? Is Prowess like the deck that's like really weak to Flage? It might be. Let's save the Manamorphose for the Tamiyo ult turn, maybe. Scam also. Like, Rakdos Scam? I mean, like, with Peace and Love, Rakdos Scam is just, in my mind, not, like, a part of the metagame. But sure. Prowess, Boros, Zoo. Yeah, I mean, so Prowess, Boros, Zoo. So the thing is, Boros and Zoo are both also Flage decks, so I don't really feel like it's a great, like, these, you know, they are the Flage decks. And Zoo also has Binding, but sure, Prowess. Prowess has a bad time against Flage. Okay, this hand is just too high upside to mulligan. Or the draw. I do think that, and I've been saying that for a while. Like, I think it's a big problem at the moment, the way Jeskai is built, that if your opponent resolves a ring, it is so hard for you to win. Your opponent is shifting Woodlandsing a ring, and so such a problem too. But like, I think facilitating a Binding Splash would go a long way. If we draw a land, we're gonna be in great shape. There we go. We are in fact in great shape. Now, am I gonna gut shot this cat? Don't think so, because they just get, you know, replacement cat. Then I get to attack the Ajani next turn. I'm gonna gut shot them. If it's like specifically if they have Amp Raptor, it's a big problem though. think I'm most likely to want to get flashback the Scour here. I'm getting a little flooded here, of course, too. Why wouldn't White March instead of Pending be better than Leyline? Leyline messes up your mana and can be ruined by Static Prison and other things. Okay, well, so, like, on a very simple level, White March instead of Pending, like, neither of these answers are a good answer to Ring. Like, when your opponent goes Ring, draw a card, and your answer is 5 mana March, or, like, 3 mana pitch a card March, or 4 mana Sorcery Speed Pending, it's not a good answer. Like, this, like, Binding being, I can answer your thing for 1 mana, it's a lot easier to stop you from drawing a card if I'm going to do it for 1 mana, and I'm going to do it for 1 mana, and it's going to just totally, totally wreck your plan sometimes, or at least at the very least stabilize. It's very different. Leyline Binding is 1 mana, exiled, non-land permanent, and instant speed. Like, the power level is much, much higher than March. And so, like, card better is card better is the short answer, I guess. Okay, Knight into Gravecrawler Bowmasters. Pretty dang good turn. Managed to bin a Phoenix there. But to say that, like, Leyline really messes up your mana is dramatic. Also, play less of these utility lands. Like, you know, you can play less Arena of Glories. You don't have to play Manamo, and you know, it comes at the cost of playing 2 Triomes in your fetch land deck. The people have been doing this for a long time with Leyline Binding. It is very doable. It'll be okay. More spoilers at the end of the month for what set? I have no idea what the name of the next set is. Was it worth to play the other Tamiyo as a blocker? I wanted to hold up Bolt for War and Soul Trader. But it's possible that Tamiyo as a blocker is a bit better. But the thing is also, like, they can deal 1 damage to my Tamiyo. I guess they could Bowmaster it too, though. Does 1 mana versus 5 mana really matter if you aren't casting anything else that turn? It doesn't matter if you're not casting anything else that turn, but this is a flawed thinking. This is a flawed thinking. The strength of Binding is being able to double spell on turn 5. It's not that often the decks other than Jeskai control have so much mana they can cast something other than Ring. This is also a flawed thinking because you're Jeskai control and you can cast something else. And if the game has gone that late, Jeskai is usually one. Anyways, this is I think everything about this I disagree with peace and love. It's like you want to be able to go Binding their Ring, play your own Ring. Binding their Ring, play your Flage. To say that the game has gone so late, I could just spend 5 mana on your super late game 1 Ring. It's like plenty of decks in the format can play the Ring on turn 3, you know, and like you just sometimes won't have a counterspell that lines up well for it against it. And I've won so many games against Jeskai this season just because I know that if I can resolve this Ring, they're not going to be able to beat it. And I just form my entire game plan around, like, resolving a Ring. And it's a really good way to beat them. But if they just have Bindings in their decks, all of a sudden your game plans get so much more complicated. Binding is probably the most underplayed card in Modern. And in fact, I think Domain Zoo is probably pretty good at the moment, where, like, Scion gets around Wrath Disguise, Binding is really strong, and then Leyline Scion also, like, solos the Boros decks if they don't have Static Prison, although, you know, they can have Static Prison. Shims, the 2 months, thank you, welcome back, appreciate you. Yeah, Binding plus Counterspell, too, so I don't know, just feels pretty flawed logic. Also, March of Otherworldly Light is bad. Like, this card is not good. This card, bad. Leyline Binding, good. It's you know... You can play 1 Triumph and have 1 you can have 1 Endotha Triumph in your deck and have access to 1 mana instant speed O-Rings versus 5 mana Exile Ring. Well, rewarded for holding up the Bolt. They do get to flip the Ajani. I wonder if I was supposed to kill the Apprentice in response. There's always Static Prison if you're worried about mana. Yeah, I mean, Static Prison in Jeskai is kind of interesting. It's like, in theory bad with Wrath Disguise, but in practice it might just not be, because you just like let the prison die, then Wrath Disguise. I think that there's a pretty good chance that that's gonna just like happen most of the time, or a lot of the time. So I want them to cast the Gravecrawler before I bolt the Apprentice, I think. How many binding do you think Jeskai should run? I guess you would cut pending for sure. I want to know if you get 1-2 more in discharge. I think I played Jeskai. I want to know, not pushing the screen. That's okay. I'm not sure. I would play 3 or 4. I would probably play 4. So just def 4. Because it's like, if you're going to jump through the hoops of getting the domain mana base, and binding is so insane, I just tend to like to play 4. Some people like to play less than 4, and that's okay. But for me, I think it'd be almost definitely I would play 4. That being said, I think there are reasons to play 3, and I think you could trim on tunes. You could easily cut the prismatic endings. You could trim on spell snares. You know, you have a lot of flex spots. You could trim on discharge. Yeah, it's like you got a lot of cards you could trim. Wilhelm with the 11 months. Thank you. Welcome back. So they killed the Demilich. Game 2. So no Force of Negations in, I think. I don't know if they're playing Flage. If they're playing Warren Soul Trader, Apprentice, Gravecrawler. There's a chance they don't have Flages. It's not that Flage is completely unbeatable, but you have to be like pretty ahead on board. But maybe that's just like pretty doable with the Pyroclasms. I do think I would have played these 3 Flame of Anors against them for Hearse and stuff. Yeah, let's try this. So it's just I'm usually playing Phage, guys. Good to know. Wilhelm, thank you for the 11 months. Appreciate you. I'm gonna go use the rest real quick. Be right back.
Look, it's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
Okay, on the play. Game 2, down a game against Mardu. Soul Trader, huh? Alright, keep this. I think in this hand I'm actually gonna Surveil turn 1 and save the Consider for my turn 3. How long has the Boxfield Twitch extension been a thing? Basically the whole time I've been sponsored by them. It is an awesome extension. I think I'm gonna not keep that. It is pretty borderline to keep land 3 there. The big problem with keeping land 3 is drawing land 4. Think we'll get your take on Frogtide at some point? Yeah, maybe. I mean, Frogtide is one of those archetypes where it's like, you know, you have to be a main to really, like, I think, feel like you have figured the list out, to feel like you have the right 75, and so there's some archetypes like this that you just have to spend all your time working on. Okay, so we're looking for a Tamiyo or a Pyroclasm. Though this turn, Tamiyo is not going to be... I guess I could have considered first, Got 4 Pyroclasms in the deck. We can hopefully find one. Let's Graveyard. Do I leave the Phoenix back to block? Sure. So now I'm just going to block all the Ocelots. I guess I'll just attack with 1. Well, I need a Pyroclasm. And it's a bit awkward, I think, if I Pyroclasm and then my Phoenix dies. Oh, I guess I go just Demilich attack. Also, I guess I also have the Tamiyo +1 here, so I really don't want them to flip the Ajani and get the Tamiyo +1 off. Too easy, baby. Cooking those cats, huh? Blade Man, 50 years. Thank you, welcome back. Appreciate you. Energy. Sorry. Wait till we went energy meme. The other draw I might play a flame. One less flame. Okay, keep this. So probably do not want to flip the Tamiyo right now. Glad we have 4 Pyroclasms today. So probably take this Manamorphose, right? Yep. 2 cards in hand. Sorry, 4 cards in hand, 2 mana. Bombardment's been looking real dang good. They probably should have flipped the Johnny main phase 1 though, and then so they could have jumped the Guide of Souls. So that way the Guide of Souls gets out of Pyroclasm range. We'll see if they sack the cat to kill my Tamiyo. No, they just do the 2 damage at me. So we need this Phoenix to kill the Ajani. Seems kind of likely. So flip the Tamiyo. Oh, second Phoenix. Nice. Gutshot would be nice. Yeah, well, these are a little out of reach here. Now, I wonder, should I ever leave a Phoenix back to block to save the Tamiyo? I think so, because we just get to see what they give flying. I'm like really happy to block since I have a salvaging rebound. If the Tamiyo lives, I get to bring back Manamorphose, make an extra mana, try to pop off. Doesn't seem super likely that I guess actually they have a lot of cards that let them double jump, unfortunately. Never mind. Alright. Dude, Bombardment is so good in these decks. Even Bombardment and Mardu seems like it would have been good there. I mean, I think the first copy is definitely good, and then my opponent's playing more of... They're playing like an actual War and Soul Trader list, and it's like, I think, much better in these shells. Is this a punt for them to only attack with 1 creature here? Feels like it could be. I will discard a Demilich first. So let's make blue mana. Then cast Tamiyo. Then Manamorphose. Blue-red. Keep new Tamiyo. +1. Pyroclasm. See how they bombardment here. Maybe they'll just kill the Tamiyo. Okay, they are going at me. But I'm going to get to go bolt their Guide of Souls and bring back my other Phoenix. Well, I guess both Phoenixes, because the first one's dying to the Pyroclasm here. My life total will not be the highest it's ever been. Down to 6, and then I'll be down to 5. Oh! They didn't think about that lightning bolt card. What a match. What a deck. Try to build a blue-green Eldrazi deck, kind of a hybrid between mono blue and mono green. That's what MTGO point. Yeah, I've been kind of messing with it too. I've seen some builds that are just kind of good. Always had the mulligan salvaging double Phoenix on the draw against the Gigantha. Let's keep this on the draw. Probably another energy opponent. You know, we were farming energy all weekend with the Woodlands deck. Well, we're gonna need a second land this game. Would you ever play a teamer version with Rumble or Cash Grab? I did think about playing Rumble in this deck, and I do think Rumble Tamiyo is cool because it you get the mana when you pick it up. But the colorless mana is it's a little weird. It's like fine. Okay, they hit a bolt. Good hit, Amtraptor. It's like amazing new combo deck. Never before insect comboing. Okay, there we go. That's how you entice a content-brained creator. I guess I'll salvaging before this hits me to try to find Gutshot. Yeah, it is an insect. Surprised to see so many instant MDFCs, when if you played Boggart Bog, that would help discount the Huskbuster, right? Oh, you also have that. Wait. This is a recross. Oh, you're recross the paths Gristing. I see. I see. Need all the MDFCs. Oh, looks awesome. Lee and an Arbiter. What are you doing? I guess it's a cat. Okay, I think I'm gonna discard second salvaging. Oh man, I can't go Tamiyo into Manamorphose to flip the Tamiyo. But flip Tamiyo would go pretty hard on this board. Not the most surprising Galvanic Discharge. All right. Down a game. So I think I'm still bringing in a couple surgicals against play more of the Grixis Wizard deck anytime soon. Maybe. I mean, I did like that deck. Open to playing it again. Maybe we'll trim a Gutshot when I have 4 Pyroclasms in. Let's try that. Why not Manamorphose Tamiyo consider? Because I've already drawn 2 cards already. I drew a card off the salvaging off my turn, so I wasn't able to flip the Tamiyo there. And I really want to be digging for more Phoenixes and Demiliches. That to me, that seemed like the way we're winning that game. I've seen 4 bolts in sideboards. I mean, I'm sure Pyroclasm is so much better than like all these other options, but I think I'm very unlikely to want to consider end bolt here. Grotto, 13 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Wait, they're playing Arid Mesa in their Arbiter deck? Alright, Surveillant. You could have cast Tamiyo, then consider. If I cast Tamiyo, then consider, I don't get to bring back Phoenix, because I wouldn't have played my 3rd spell. So I could have done that, yeah, then not flipped it, and then not brought back the Phoenix. Sorry, my draw step stop is a little slow. Although I guess if they just play a Flage here, I'm not upset. Yeah, that's. I think that's fine. Like I get to time walk them. Okay, I need some cantrips. Alright, they can't escape the Flage right now, so wait on the Surgical. 17 lands in the stack. So I should be able to respond to them fetching with the Surgical. Loundy with the 3 months. Thank you, welcome back. Thank you for keeping my hope in premium jank high week after week. Hell yeah. That's the goal. This deck needs Profane Tutor buried alive. Shameless plug for Red-Black Phoenix. I mean, I think you can build a deck like that, but I think I'm more inclined to believe that this archetype is better with Force of Negation over Buried Alive, where your mana's better, you're less all in, you have less kind of like crappy top decks like Striker Rich, Profane Tutor, and you have a plan against the One Ring, which you kind of otherwise don't have. Well, a Hasty Gigantha is a problem here. So I could take 1 this turn, and then 7 next turn, go to 4, and then Pyroclasm plus Bolt the Gigantha. I think that that's probably the plan. Draws have been pretty bad this game. A non-Hasty Gigantha would, of course, have been a lot easier to contain. They also have a Bolt in their hand. We did Surgical their Flages, so... Oh, play a Pride. Okay, that also works. I drew another land, somehow. I think I'll just save the Surgical to discard. Highway Robbery sex lands. Usually you just want to play lands out. Hearst top deck's pretty bad for me. We do have some Flame of Anors in the list. Can top deck Demilich. I have 17 lands in this deck. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of the 17 drawn in the top 21. Tough. There's that Ghost Quarter. Random ass Ghost Quarter. There is a Strip Mine here. Why not play land? I am never ever cracking this fetch. I am never gonna crack the Scalding Tarn because my opponent is at I'm at 4. My opponent has a Bolt in their hand, so we might discard it. All right, they're hasting a creature. Cruise a lethal Hearst too. Dead to the Bolt if they just attack with the Amped Raptor. Alright, no trophy this league. This is better if you have good stuff in play to copy, and then Coat like digs for good stuff to copy and just like flip up, you know? Like, this card is very cool. It seems to be like a lot worse than Cryptic Coat. I do like to get into play some 1-mana counter spells. I don't know how I feel exactly about a 2-2 split of Pierce and Snare, but it seems fine. Place to start, and you can tweak those numbers as you test. I don't think I like the Esper Sentinel very much. I was for a while really trying to get enough blue cards to main deck Force of Negation in this shell, but I don't think you can really do that. Okay, so they reveal a ring to their Carplusion Forest here. Is Arclight Phoenix the best bird in Modern? I mean, Detective's Phoenix might have replaced it. I don't know. So we can double Demilich next turn by going Manamorphose, Scour, Bolt, Gutshot. Yeah, I think this is like a fine shell. I really don't like that Cryptic Code is almost definitely better than this idea, but this is very cool. F&M choice. I also don't like colorless utility lands in a deck with like double white 2-drop, a million colored 1-mana spells. You should definitely not play Field of Ruin, in my opinion. You just can't afford it. So they hit a Devourer here. Finding a Force of Negation would be pretty big this game, or this turn. I'm gonna get a Steam Bin since I have 2 bolts in my hand. Although there's a good chance I'm casting 1 this turn. I'm gonna make blue-red. Huh, and then we did find Highway Robbery. But I can't Highway Robbery away the Phoenix and get both Demiliches back unless I find a second Gut Shot, which is just not very likely. So I think we should stick to the plan of getting double Lich in play here. Not a great game to be on the draw for. I do think I'm... Sorry, I guess I should be leaving Consider in the yard, since they're going to ring next turn. We want to have cantrips to flashback. So we might go like plot Highway Robbery and flashback Consider. Cyber looks pretty fine. So some loose thoughts here. I would not play Sentinel. I would play... I think Code is better than Blade. I would like to see like more interaction maybe in the Sentinel spot. You already have the Static Prisons, but like another 1-mana removal spell would be nice, but there really isn't another good 1-mana removal spell, which I bet you realize, and I bet you realize that's part of the problem. Okay, so hopefully we can avoid having a Through the Breach thrown at us. Second Highway Robbery to discard the second Phoenix next turn seems at least better than the average top deck. Why is Sentinel almost $30? No one plays that card anymore. It's an EDH staple. I think it's his legacy play still too. Yeah, you should play 4 Flagstones. Yes, you should definitely play 4 Flagstones. The opportunity cost is very low, and you're just very happy to open Flagstones. Phantom. It's $1.50 in China. I guess we could become Esper Sentinel merchants, sailing to China to collect the cheap Sentinels, selling them here in the States. Yeah. The answer to why is this card so expensive is the answer is always EDH. Easy rule of thumb. Easy rule of thumb. So they imprinted Emrakul this turn. Discard a Phoenix. Caw. Okay, so I decided to go with Cleansing Wildfire instead of Consigned to Memory, since you could like pick it up with Tamiyo, replay it, flash it back with Demilich, but more effectively. Obviously, Cleansing Wildfire much worse against Breach than it is Tron. How many basics are they playing actually? Like 3 or? If it's 2, I'm really happy. If it's 3, I'm less happy. Let's go take a peek at a list real quick. First list I find has 2. Okay, pretty happy with that. So I think in this matchup, it's like we go down 2 Gut Shot, 2 Bolt. We can also play some copies of Flame of Anor. I don't think they play a lot of Graveyard Hate though. Just close the list. So the side they've got, I see Stonebrain, which we could maybe Force of Negation, maybe Race, because it's kind of slow. Oh, they also play Trinispheres. Okay, so we should play some Flame of Anors. I think I'll play the 4th Flame on the play, and then only 3 on the draw. Oh, sorry. Also, I need to bring these in. Yeah, they have Kozilek's Command, but not like a lot of sideboard Graveyard Hate. Can I share with you my Team or Wizards list with Wilderness Reclamation? Sure. Yeah, I thought I already dragged those in. Yeah, Highway Robbery, I honorary MH3 card. Maybe the card between looting. Oh no, I think Salvaging is still better than Highway Robbery by a little bit. It's close. Slow hand. We do have a flame. Don't think I'm gonna mulligan. I need to switch to a different browser. I would never ever play Murktide Region, I think, in this archetype. If I have Wilderness Reclamation in my deck, I don't have Murktide Region. I think that's almost clear. And I think it also seems like I would just play this fourth Wilderness Rec. I play the fourth Snapcaster in these slots. Although you also need to play some Wrenn and 6. Like zero Wrenn and 6 is almost definitely incorrect. It's like super good in Reclamation as an archetype. I would play this fourth Deluge over the second Nexus every single time. And I mean every single time. Cleansing, used against what? In this matchup against Ugin's Labyrinth and Eldrazi Temple. And it's a bit more effective against Tron, I'll say. Been a while since been able to tune in. What is the card we're supposed to have? It's going to be banned nowadays. We'll see what that conversation is in 1 week from today. Was hoping to see a Forest in Exile here. Tier person is missing one card. Do you want Ewit or second 6? I think I was playing second 6, and then I'm not. It's been a little bit since I have played the deck. It's possible I cut the second card because I'm just not I'm not sure what to play at that spot. Did you try something with Storm Splitter? I thought. Let me reread Storm Splitter. I cannot remember the text on that card. Oh, I mean that card is just not playable. It is just like way too expensive. It is very cool, and I like it. Alright, we'll save that for the post-flame turn, I guess. Thanks, Andy. Hope you have some safe travels. Hope you have some good travels. But also, I do recommend Bant Prayers over Teamer, but you can play Teamer if you want. Play a slightly worse, but much more budget build. Like Teamer Prayers is, aside from fetch lands, pretty budget friendly. So it's like a main phase Kozilek's Command. Can you plot through Trinisphere? I think you should be able to. That being said, I think it's probably better to play our tap land, although big minus point for Thundering Falls here, I agree. Alright, they have played around Flame of Anor pretty well. What do you think are Bant's Prayers bad matchups? I mean, it's faster combo decks mostly. They've seen Dingo destroying everyone at Apex this weekend. We tuned in for a little bit in between the Showcase Challenge rounds. I saw that he and Krista, I don't know who their teammate was, won. they actually when I was hanging out with them in California a couple months ago, they invited me to come play at the event too. It could have been me. Could have been me with that trophy. But I think I would take the Mox top 8 over it for whatever that's worth. If we don't have Ocelot, should you play Teamer Prayers or Bant? Yeah. Don't try to like substitute something for Ocelot. I think in Bant, just play Teamer. So I was under the impression the Mox was the 31st. We need to look it up, or I need to look it up, but I thought it was the 31st, but someone said Corey was saying it was later. But at the very least, it should be post Nadu ban, which is pretty exciting. Is the Mox open deck list? No. I might record it just that way. Like last time I qualified for a Mox, I was streaming it with like, Stream Decker link or Moxfield link, and it's like, I think it was a big punt. So I may just record. Ugh, Tapland. I did think about not playing Canals. See if we just get through the breach here. What do you get for this top 8? Yeah, so in the showcase event, it's kind of simple. If you top 8 a showcase or you 5-0 one of the last chance qualifiers, you get to play in round 2 of the mocks. I believe first and second place get mocks invites and Pro Tour invites. It might just be first place. And it's very, very fun event, very exciting event. You can play Sulphur Falls instead of Canals? No, you just play more fetch lands. You should not ever consider Sulphur Falls, really. You should play, like you keep too many one-landers in this deck to play Sulphur Falls. Yeah, it would be a really fun event to stream. I agree. But they got Ugin's Lab, and then they imprint another Devourer. So they're... I mean, that's not ideal. Probably going to game 3. How would you get 3rd or 4th Leyline into this list? You could cut a Toon, you could cut the 4th Force, you could cut the Teferi. You could cut the 4th Wrath of Skies, but I probably wouldn't. One thing is, like, if you have Leyline Binding in your deck, you need the forces much... Oh, they had another Trinisphere? Okay, we're going game 3. Then on the play, I think we could afford the 4th Flame of Anor a little bit better. Trimming probably a 2-drop. Usually trims Highway Robbery over Salvaging. Although I guess since they're on Trinisphere, Robbery is probably better. Yeah, I think the 4th Force is kind of an easy cut. You can move the 4th Wrath. Oh, sorry, you have 4 Subtleties. I straight up would play 0 Subtleties. I think Subtlety is so mediocre right now. I would straight up play 0 Subtleties. Cut Verdict. Yeah, if you're gonna play the 4th Wrath, the Verdict's a cut, I think. I would play 0 Subtleties. You can play 1 or 2, but I would definitely not play 4. And that just opens the deck to play like more snares if you want, you know, more flex spots like a Teferi if you want. It's a 4-lander. I do hate mulliganing Manamorphose hands, but not in the business of keeping 4-landers. I mean, Falls has been good today. This is my first time actually playing Thundering Falls. Usually I omit it from the list because of hands like this. It can be really, really bad to draw. I think I should probably lead on the Falls. Scary. You'd be really leaning on Flage to win? Yeah, just like you do every single game with just Guy. It's like... it's kind of a flawed logic too, where it's like game 1 Flage wins every single game because there just isn't Graveyard Hate very often in game 1, and then you can have maybe more win cons on the sideboard. But I do think people are too scared of they have to keep the Flame because of Trinisphere, despite not having the 3rd land for it. I do think people are too scared of oh no, my Flage is gone and then I can't win game 1. But then in sideboard games, I agree. I think it becomes more of a problem. Okay, that's a good pickup. It'd be kind of sad. I mean, if they play Trinisphere, we'll force or whatever, but to some extent, it's kind of a bummer because we have this Flame of Anor in our hand. But with no 3rd land, we have to force. Rat Poison with the 15 months. Thank you so much. First Verdict feels so much good with so much energy hate. Yeah, but it doesn't have to be in the main either. Like again, so many of these problems are just like sideboard problems, you know what I mean? Three cards in their hand. What did they pitch to the Gemstone? Pitched a Forest. That's actually really good knowledge because of the whole Cleansing Wildfire situation. So maybe if we can flip the Tamiyo and pick up the Wildfire, we can start stone raining them. Oh! Opponents skipping on their basics. Let's go. Maybe they have the other Forest in their hand. Looks like another Kozilek's command. Just Force is so good in Phoenix. I think it's better than Buried Alive. Do think it's a combo. So, salvaging discarding Flame seems a little weird here. I think I'll just sack a Clue. It does set up for the Tamiyo flip, though. Now the Manamorphose does also, as well. 3 cards in their hand. What do you think about adding Blood Moon or Harbinger if you make the mana base change with extra fetches? I think that Wildfire is the better hate at the moment. It's cheaper. It's better on the draw. It has synergy with Demilich. It has synergy with Tamiyo. Reveal a Talisman. So, you know, if we can find land number 3, that would be pretty nice. Nice. Wow, another flame. Sorry, another wildfire. And another flame. Actually, I saw the wildfire and said flame, and then I saw the flame in my hand. I guess I maybe subconsciously saw it. Okay, besiege you. If I could just keep them off the mana, I don't need to be too worried about it. Let's cycle the Manamorphose and try to find land number 4 to double Wildfire them this turn. There's land number 4. So I guess I should probably just pick up this Manamorphose, make a mana with the Manamorphose so I can go get some pressure on them. Obviously, this Force is a great pickup, too. Another Phoenix to discard to the Salvaging next turn. Things are looking pretty dang good, if I do say so myself. Uh-oh. Oh, wait, so their hand can't be... Sorry, their hand can't be Imprintable for Ugin's Labyrinth, Through the Breach, and then also the Through the Breach, but... We might be getting uncounterable Through the Breach next turn. If they, like, rip another land. Could probably beat an Emrakul with all the clues and the Phoenixes, though. Could also find another Wildfire. Might as well keep that. Yeah, I mean, Ulamog is only Annihilator 2, and, I mean, I wouldn't love to have to Annihilator 6 here. But I could sack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, kind of easy. Next turn I get to double Wildfire, so they gotta have it this turn. Can we play Ral in this list? Maybe. Okay, we have 4 Wonder First League. Let's run it back. Love to see this league run back without the Spirebluffs. They look pretty bad.